So, you think conspiracy theories are just tinfoil hat nonsense? Adorable. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on some of the wildest, creepiest, and eerily real conspiracies tied to the US government, military, and, brace yourself, your everyday life. Whether it's mind-reading tech, secret moon bases, or nukes exploding in space, these aren't your average Reddit rumors. These are the facts they wish stayed buried. Still feeling confident? Let's see how long that lasts. 1. AI-generated fake people aren't just a sci-fi nightmare anymore. They're living rent-free on your feed right now. Intelligence agencies have mastered the art of crafting entire digital personas, full-on profiles with careers, family albums, and oh-so-relatable posts. These ghosts of the internet never existed, yet they're mingling with you online like your chatty coworker Carol. Think you're debating politics with a real person? Might just be a bot perfecting its small talk. And if half the people you know are made of pixels and code, well, what's left that's actually human? Yeah, chew on that next time you're scrolling. 2. Here's one for your next nightmare. DARPA, the Pentagon's favorite mad scientists, have created synthetic blood that keeps soldiers alive way longer after massive injuries. This is no urban legend. In 2018, they straight up confirmed it. Imagine bleeding out on a battlefield and boom. This miracle juice buys you time. Incredible, right? But don't get too excited. Civilians? We're apparently not on the priority list. So, unless you're in combat gear, better cross your fingers that your local hospital still stocks something more advanced than Band-Aids. 3. So, the US has lost not 1, not 2, but at least 6 nuclear bombs. Gone. Misplaced like a set of car keys. Except, the kind of keys that can vaporize a city. These broken arrow incidents include one chilling case where a fully armed nuke has been chilling on the ocean floor off Georgia for decades. What's scarier? Nobody seems in a rush to fish it out. Kinda makes you wonder if Atlantis went under because someone else got sloppy with their nukes too. 4. Back in 2017, the Pentagon let slip they've been testing brain-computer interfaces. Basically, helmets that let soldiers talk telepathically. No radios, no shouting, just straight brain-to-brain messaging like something ripped out of a sci-fi blockbuster. And if that's what they're admitting publicly, you can bet the real tech behind closed doors is next-level spooky. Honestly, I'm starting to think my Wi-Fi isn't dropping out. It's probably just some soldier's brainwave cutting through. 5. Imagine chilling in your backyard when a mosquito bites you. And surprise, you've just been vaccinated. Sounds wild? In 2023, researchers in Maryland pulled it off. They engineered mosquitoes to deliver vaccines through their bites. Officially, it was just an experiment. But let's be real. When science hits this level of creepy, you know there's more going on than they're telling us. So next time you swat a mosquito, don't just be annoyed. Wonder if you just ruined a government inoculation plan. 6. Ever wonder if your name's floating around on some government list? Spoiler, it might be. The FBI secretly maintains a watch list of US citizens labeled as potential threats. And here's the kicker. You don't need to commit a crime to end up on it. A leaked report confirmed people can be added without being notified, without due process, and, best part, without any way to appeal. Journalists, whistleblowers, activists, yep, they've all been on it. Basically, it's like getting detention, except you have no idea why and you can't argue your case. So, feel safe yet? 7. Remember when super soldiers were just something out of Marvel movies? Well, welcome to reality. In 2019, the Pentagon straight up admitted they're working on genetic modifications to boost soldiers' strength, stamina, and even brain power. We're talking about engineered humans built for war, stronger, faster, and smarter than the rest of us. Officially, they're exploring possibilities. Unofficially, you can bet there's already a few Captain America prototypes doing push-ups in secret bunkers. Sleep tight. 8. The government's latest flex? Memory-wiping tech. DARPA has been pouring money into electroceutical implants designed to mess with brain signals, disrupting or erasing memories. Officially, it's all about helping soldiers with PTSD. But come on, when has any tech like this ever stayed in its lane? Imagine a device that can make witnesses forget what they saw, or make you question if your memories are even real. Sci-fi? Nope. Science, baby. 9. Since 2016, dozens of US diplomats and CIA officers have been hit by something straight out of a Cold War thriller, Havana syndrome. Victims report sudden nausea, vertigo, migraines, and in some cases, actual brain damage. The official theory? Directed energy weapons. Yup, literal invisible attacks. If hostile powers are zapping American personnel around the world, why isn't this front-page news every single day? Maybe because the answers are scarier than the questions. 10. Think alien invasions are just popcorn movie fun? Think again. Declassified files suggest that during the Reagan era, the US toyed with a project called Project Bluebeam, which planned to use holograms and high-tech audio to fake an alien invasion. The goal? Unite the world under one global government. Sounds too wild to be true. Until you realize how fast UFO talk has gone mainstream lately. Are we watching history unfold? Or just the next phase of an old playbook? 11. Beneath the bright lights of Las Vegas lies something way darker. And we're not talking about the casinos. The city's underground tunnel network supposedly started as simple flood control, but there's more than just stormwater down there. Homeless folks report bizarre off-limit zones. Researchers whisper about old military experiments, and get this, some tunnels even have reinforced blast doors. Yeah, because floodwaters are super good at picking locks, right? So who or what were these tunnels really built for? 12. The internet you scroll every day? That's just the sanitized version. Intelligence agencies have turned online platforms into digital puppet theaters, using AI to boost, bury, or erase whatever fits their agenda. In 2018, insiders revealed that Google manually downranks certain news outlets, meaning some stories are dead on arrival before you even hit search. So, when you think you're informed, remember, you're only seeing what someone wants you to see. Feeling enlightened yet? 13. You expect military bases to be blurred out on Google Earth? But what about a random spot in Greenland, an isolated patch in Mongolia, or a mysterious complex in Nevada's desert? Yep, those too. Entire areas blacked out with zero explanation. No population, no known purpose, just darkness. It begs the question, what's so secret that even a satellite image is too much to risk? Whatever it is, it's gotta be weirder than cows or cacti. 14. Ever get that creepy feeling your phone's working against you? Well, according to some tech insiders, that's not paranoia. It might be protocol. There are claims that modern smartphones, laptops, and even your smart fridge have secret kill switch software baked in, allowing government agencies to remotely disable or brick your devices instantly. No warning, no confirmation, just gone. The big question isn't whether this tech could exist, but who's really holding the keys? Because if there's a giant red button out there for your gadgets, what happens when the wrong person pushes it? 15. Earthquakes. Nature's fury or man-made mayhem. Back in 1997, former U.S. Secretary of Defense William Cohen casually mentioned that nations and terrorist groups were exploring weapons that could trigger earthquakes and volcanic eruptions remotely. Not your usual cocktail party chatter, right? The fact is, the US military has been poking around in seismic warfare since at least the 1960s. So while the official story is all pure research, you've got to wonder, if they were worried about it back then, who's sitting on that tech now? And what happens when someone decides to shake things up? Literally? 16. Picture this. September 1983. A Soviet officer named Stanislav Petrov is staring at a screen flashing warnings that 5 US nukes are inbound. His orders? Launch a counterstrike immediately. But Petrov hesitated. And thank whatever cosmic luck you believe in, because it turned out to be a computer glitch. The world came within minutes of total annihilation. And if that's the one we know about, how many other oops moments have been buried deep in classified files? It's chilling to think how fragile peace really is, and how often we've flirted with oblivion. 17. Think the FBI just chases criminals? Think again. Hidden in their archives is a treasure trove called the Black Vault, over 16,000 pages documenting paranormal cases, psychic experiments, and unexplained phenomena. We're talking everything from mass UFO sightings to eerie disappearances where multiple witnesses swore they saw the exact same thing, and no official explanation was ever given. The best part? These cases aren't from fringe weirdos, but from solid witnesses, including cops and pilots. Makes you wonder what's still locked up in those files. 18. Time travel. Just a Hollywood fantasy? Maybe not entirely. Declassified documents from a U.S. Air Force study explored something called closed time-like curves, basically mathematical loops that could, in theory, allow for backward time travel. Sure, they labeled it as theoretical, but let's be real. The military doesn't throw funding at sci-fi unless there's a hint of possibility. Were they just daydreaming on government time? Or were those eggheads actually testing something? Either way, if anyone shows up claiming they're from the future, maybe hear them out. 19. For over 2 decades, the U.S. military poured millions into a project that sounds like the plot of a bad sci-fi movie, Psychic Spies. Under Project Stargate, remote viewers were trained to mentally access distant locations and gather intel. No drones, no boots on the ground, just pure brainpower. Critics called it nonsense, but the fact that it lasted 20 years tells you someone thought it was working. Did they really spy on secret bases with nothing but their minds? Officially, the program's dead. But unofficially, who's to say those psychic recruits didn't see that coming? 20. Your census data is completely private. Yeah, about that. Turns out the U.S. Census Bureau has been quietly handing over confidential personal data to law enforcement, despite loudly promising the opposite. In 2020, a bombshell report exposed how these private details were shared behind the scenes, leaving millions of Americans totally unaware. So while you were busy counting household members and ticking those little boxes, Big Brother was already reading between the lines. Privacy? Please. That ship sailed a long time ago. 21. While we're all busy worrying about the next big crisis, the U.S. government has had its escape plan locked and loaded for decades. It's called Continuity of Government, COG, a sprawling survival blueprint that ensures politicians and top brass are whisked away to fortified underground bunkers. The second things hit the fan. Meanwhile, the rest of us? Well, we're kind of expected to figure it out on our own. These Cold War-era plans are still updated today, which begs the question, are they preparing for a remote possibility or something they know is coming? 22. Ever wonder what happens if the world goes nuclear? The U.S. Air Force has a terrifyingly practical answer: the E-4B Nightwatch fleet. These behemoth aircraft are basically flying fortresses, designed to survive a full-scale nuclear apocalypse. They can stay airborne for days, acting as mobile command centers where military and government bigwigs can ride out doomsday in style. They've got backup everything, including shields against electromagnetic pulses. Makes you think, if these planes are fully prepped and on standby, do they know something we don't? 23. In 2019, the U.S. Navy casually dropped a bombshell. Well, a patent, technically. They filed for a hybrid aerospace underwater craft capable of zipping through both air and water at ridiculous speeds, powered by something called a high-energy electromagnetic field. Basically, it sounds like UFO tech, but with a military stamp on it. The Navy insists it's theoretical. Sure, because militaries love wasting money patenting pure science fiction, right? Or maybe they've already got prototypes stashed where we can't see them. 24. It's not just the skies that hold mysteries, the oceans are playing their own weird game. U.S. Navy sonar operators have reported encounters with unidentified submerged objects, or USOs, darting around underwater at speeds that make submarines look like bathtub toys. We're talking about craft that defy physics as we know it, moving through deep-sea pressure zones where no known human technology can function. Whatever's down there, it's not just lost treasure, and it sure isn't playing by our rules. 25. Mind-reading tech used to be a sci-fi fever dream. Not anymore. In 2018, DARPA announced its Brain-Computer Interface project, showing off the ability to control machines with pure thought. Cool, right? But leaked military docs hint that the real goal goes deeper, literally into your head. The project aims to decode and potentially influence human thought patterns. So while we're all excited about moving robot arms with our minds, they might be figuring out how to move your thoughts without you even knowing. Sweet dreams. 26. Zombies might be fiction, but the US government isn't taking any chances. FEMA reportedly has a detailed, classified plan on how to respond to a zombie outbreak. Sure, they claim it's a hypothetical exercise for training, but the language in the document talks about reanimated biological threats and pathogen-based behavioral shifts. In other words, not just movie monsters. When a government puts that much effort into something fake, you have to wonder what kind of nightmare scenarios they're really bracing for. 27. We've all heard of Norway's Svalbard seed vault, the world's backup plan for crops. But what most don't know is that the US also has multiple classified seed vaults scattered across the country. And unlike Svalbard, these aren't exactly advertised in tourist brochures. Rumors swirl that they aren't just storing basic seeds, but entire vaults of genetically modified crops designed to thrive in post-apocalyptic conditions. It's like Noah's Ark for plants, except this ark might be prepping for a future they're not telling us about. 28. Ever sent your DNA to a company like 23andMe to check if you're 1% Viking? Yeah, about that. In 2019, it came out that some of these genealogy services have been quietly sharing genetic data with law enforcement, and even the Pentagon. So while you were busy discovering your great-great-grandma's roots, your DNA might have been added to a database that's a lot less about family trees and a lot more about surveillance. Think twice before mailing in that next swab. 29. You think encryption keeps your messages safe? Think again. In 2013, Edward Snowden revealed that the NSA runs a little something called PRISM. This program lets them tap into the servers of major tech giants, Google, Apple, Facebook, you name it, to access emails, video chats, and more. And those secure encrypted messages, let's just say encryption slows them down, but doesn't stop them. So, next time you send that totally private message, remember, someone might already have a front row seat. 30. Imagine being hit with a weapon that leaves no mark, no noise, just sudden, unbearable agony. That's the Active Denial System, ADS, a real US military weapon that fires invisible microwave beams to create an intense burning sensation on your skin. But leaked files hint at something even more sinister. Advanced versions that can completely paralyze a person without them realizing what's happening. You're standing one moment and the next, you just drop, clueless about why. Officially, it's all about non-lethal crowd control. Unofficially, it sounds like sci-fi crossed with a nightmare. 31. The Philadelphia experiment is one of those conspiracy theories that just won't die. And maybe for good reason. In 1943, it was rumored that the Navy tested technology to make an entire ship invisible, both to radar and the naked eye. Sounds wild, right? Fast forward a few decades, and the US military did confirm research into metamaterials that can bend light around objects, essentially making them invisible. So while they insist that the ship vanishing story is fiction, let's just say their track record of "we don't have that" usually means we totally do. 32. Turns out, the CIA had an eye for fine art. Well, sort of. Declassified documents show that in the 1950s, the agency secretly funneled millions into promoting abstract expressionism, like Jackson Pollock's wild, chaotic paintings. The goal? Use modern art as a cultural weapon to show the world how free and creative Americans were compared to the Soviets' strict realism. So next time you stare at a messy canvas wondering, is this even art? Just remember, it might have been a Cold War mind game. Makes you look at those splatter paintings a little differently, huh? 33. The days of hiding behind walls might be over. In 2016, DARPA tested a device called Range-R, a portable radar that can see through walls and detect movement inside buildings. While it was pitched as a battlefield tool, US law enforcement agencies have already used it, often without informing the public. So, while you thought your home provided privacy, agents with the right gadget could have been watching your every move through solid concrete. Forget Big Brother watching. You've got Big Brother peeking now. 34. Remember the Great Blackout of 2003? 50 million people across the US and Canada suddenly plunged into darkness. Officials chalked it up to a software bug, but whispers from leaked intelligence reports suggest a darker possibility: a cyber attack, possibly from a foreign government, or worse, a deliberate test of critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. If true, that blackout wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a warning shot. And if it was just a test, you have to wonder, what's the real plan for round 2? 35. Let's get one thing straight. No, 5G isn't turning people into zombies. But here's where it gets interesting. Declassified US military documents confirm that high-frequency electromagnetic waves, like those used in 5G, can be weaponized for crowd control, psychological ops, and even subtle manipulation of human brain activity. So while your cell tower probably isn't melting your brain, the underlying tech has some eerie side effects that are way beyond what your phone company will admit. Makes that full bars signal a little less comforting, right? 36. The SR-71 Blackbird was once the king of the skies, but meet its rumored successor, the SR-72 Darkstar. Whispers in defense circles claim this hypersonic drone can hit Mach 6, making it nearly untouchable. Officially, it's in development. But multiple sightings of high-speed aircraft, way too fast for anything known, have sparked rumors that this beast is already operational. If true, the SR-72 isn't just the next big thing, it's the current big thing, and it's flying faster than any of us can track. 37. Walmart, America's go-to for groceries, cheap clothes, and maybe covert military ops. Some ex-employees claim there's a network of hidden tunnels beneath certain Walmart stores, allegedly used for secret government projects or even detention centers. Things got weirder in 2015 when several Walmarts abruptly shut down overnight citing plumbing issues, yet no plumbing repairs ever took place. Even stranger, some of these locations were reportedly used for military training exercises. Makes you wonder, are those rollback prices hiding a whole underground world? 38. Somewhere out in the cosmic abyss, something or someone is making noise. Scientists have picked up fast radio bursts, FRBs. Short, powerful signals from deep space that sometimes repeat in eerily precise patterns. The kicker? We have no clue where they're coming from. Some think they're natural phenomena, but others whisper about alien civilizations or secret military signals bouncing around the void. Either way, these bursts have baffled experts for years. And if we're out here listening like cosmic eavesdroppers, you've got to wonder, is anyone listening back? 39. Think your fingerprint scanner is just unlocking your phone? Think again. In 2019, Amazon and the FBI quietly inked a deal giving law enforcement direct access to Ring doorbell footage. Translation: if you've got a Ring camera, the government might be watching your front porch right now. No warrant needed. Oh, and that fancy fingerprint sensor you love? That biometric data is feeding into databases that could track you indefinitely. So while you're marveling at the convenience, your privacy might already be toast. 40. Bigfoot may be a legend to most of us, but the FBI took it seriously enough to open a file. In 2019, the agency declassified documents showing they'd actually analyzed hair samples believed to be from the elusive creature. Why would a federal agency waste time and resources on something they thought was pure fantasy? Either they were just really bored, or there's a lot more to the Bigfoot story than they've let on. Cue the spooky forest music. 41. Picture this: a massive flying mothership cruising through the skies, quietly launching swarms of deadly drones. Sounds like something from a Marvel movie, right? Nope. It's reportedly a real Pentagon project. In 2022, reports emerged about an airborne aircraft carrier in development designed to deploy and recover drones mid-air. Officially, it's still experimental. Unofficially, with all the mysterious sightings and training exercises lately, maybe this beast is already flexing its wings where we can't see. 42. Imagine a machine that could give the world unlimited clean energy. Sounds like a fantasy, but the US Navy actually patented a device called a plasma compression fusion reactor that claims to do just that. If this tech is real, it would obliterate the fossil fuel industry overnight. So why hasn't it been built? Some say it's a scientific dead end, but others suspect powerful oil and gas interests are making sure it stays locked up tight. After all, clean energy doesn't exactly pad billionaire bank accounts. 43. Hollow Earth theories might sound like the stuff of pulp sci-fi. But once upon a time, the US military didn't think it was so crazy. Declassified reports from the early 1900s reveal that high-level officials actually considered the possibility of vast underground civilizations hidden beneath our feet. Expeditions were even proposed to seek out entrances to these supposed inner worlds. Officially, they found nothing. But why did serious government minds even entertain the idea? What exactly were they hoping to discover down there? 44. Back in 1959, the US military had its eyes set on a truly wild goal: building a fully operational base on the moon. The plan, dubbed Project Horizon, aimed to set up a nuclear-armed lunar outpost by the 1960s. Officially, it was scrapped as too ambitious and too expensive. But some conspiracy theorists, and a few insiders, believe secret lunar missions may have quietly continued. So next time you look up at the moon, ask yourself, is it really just craters up there? 45. While most of us stock a few cans of beans just in case, the US government is playing on a whole other level. Whistleblowers have claimed there are massive emergency food stockpiles. Think underground bunkers full of non-perishable rations, hidden in remote locations across the country. But these caches aren't meant for the general public. Nope, they're reserved for government officials, military brass, and VIPs if the worst happens. So if disaster strikes, guess who's on their own? Spoiler, it's not them. 46. Back in the 1960s, yes, the 1960s, the CIA ran an experiment that sounds ripped straight from a dystopian novel. They surgically implanted electrodes into dogs' brains, turning them into remote-controlled puppets. Using radio signals, agents could steer the dogs left, right, even force them to stop or run. Cute? Nope. Downright creepy. And if this is what they were openly dabbling in 60 years ago, you've got to ask, how far has brain manipulation tech come since then? Let's just hope no one's holding a remote for us. 47. The Apollo 11 moon landing, humanity's greatest achievement watched by millions. So, naturally, NASA lost the original footage. Yep, the high-quality video and crucial telemetry data from the first moon landing mysteriously disappeared from the archives. For decades, no one could explain where it went. Eventually, some of it was partially restored. But the full original? Still gone. This isn't misplacing your car keys. We're talking about one of the most historic moments ever. Accident? Or something they didn't want us to see? 48. Think you're in control when you scroll or shop online? Think again. A leaked government doc titled The Internet of Bodies outlines a plan to use smart devices, phones, TVs, fridges, even your car, to monitor human behavior in real time. It's not just ads tracking you, it's a full-blown surveillance network wrapped in convenience. And if your toaster can report on you, how much of what you're shown online is being manipulated, nudged, or outright controlled? Welcome to the Digital Panopticon. You didn't even need to sign up. 49. Nukes in space sound like the plot of a cheesy 80s action flick, but the US actually did it. In 1962, under Project Starfish Prime, a 1.4 megaton nuclear bomb was detonated 250 miles above the Earth. The blast was so powerful, it created an artificial radiation belt, fried satellites, and disrupted global communications. Officially, it was a test to see what nukes would do in space. But seriously, were they really just curious, or probing something they suspected was up there? Either way, space just got a whole lot less peaceful. Alright, that's 49 conspiracy bombs dropped, but now it's your turn. Which one blew your mind? Which one do you refuse to believe? And which one do you secretly think is 100% true? Hit the comments and let's get weird. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, What are you waiting for? A personal invitation from the CIA? Smash that like button, subscribe for more unsettling truths, and remember, just because it sounds crazy doesn't mean it's not happening.